Hello. For the 30 or so people who have been subscribed to me for some reason, you may have noticed I've been gone for 6 months and have not uploaded anything. I got very busy. But now it's summer, and I'm back with something new I want to show you. What you're seeing is something not many people are talking about, and is something I've been interested in for around 3 weeks at this point. Welcome to GTNH New Horizons, a mod pack designed by insane people for insane people just to waste everyone's time. You've probably heard of other mod packs like RLCraft and such that claim to be the most difficult or most sadistic content pack ever created for Minecraft. And GTNH New Horizons, which I will refer to as GTNH forevermore, also falls under that umbrella. But from my playtime of about 30 hours so far, it's definitely not. Let me explain myself here. In RLCraft, you struggle to find resources and get murdered by a dragon for lightly browning your pants after hearing a creeper light itself up behind you. The mod tests your combat ability and how you manage your resources to find better gear and weapons through that combat. GTNH does not do that. Yes, there are strong enemies lurking about all the time, which are called Infernals in case you don't know squat about the mod pack, but that's not why this mod pack is touted as one of the hardest on the internet. The real reason is time. Time and brain power. See, unlike RLCraft, which focuses on enemies and combat, possibly giving you arthritis in the wrists and making you go blind from the explosions and colors, GTNH decides to target your head. Literally. As in it literally requires you to think to some degree in order to play. Not only that, but it demands you think for a long time. How long? Well, let's look at RLCraft again. Should you be good at Minecraft and play your best, you're looking at a time of around 200 hours on the high end, possibly 100. For GTNH, well, it's only a little marginally more, 12. It's 12 RLCraft playthroughs in length. Literally. It's estimated to be anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 hours in length for a single playthrough of this mod pack. This then begs the question of why I'm playing through GTNH, and it's more so just because I want to. I wanted to try doing something different from my normal method of making videos, because keeping up the energy and thinking of what to say on the fly while I'm playing is a lot. It's too much for me, at least. Not to mention having to edit it together afterwards. So instead, you'll be getting weekly updates on my progress just like this. I'll tell you what I've done for the week, and of course show you anything cool that happens while I play, like getting two-shot out of nowhere for some reason. Anyway, where should I begin? Let's start at the beginning. I made a few new worlds and ended up using a seed recommended through the wiki to find a place to settle. One of the main tips I saw was starting a base in an area with 80% humidity or more. I'm not entirely sure why yet, but I'm pretty sure it's because it makes my crops grow slower when I'm under that percentage, which would explain why they mentioned saving you the headache later. So I settled by the river and started making my base. I set up a sizable farm and started growing crops I found while wandering, mostly cotton, but I also planted a bunch of other stuff too. This brings me to a major change in this mod pack. Hunger and food. Hunger works like normal. Hunger drains when you do anything, even using tools. You eat food, you get it back. The only difference is that being hungry slows you down because you're starving, and I guess your character gets hangry. Food is the main thing I was dealing with in the early game, because eating the same food over and over again doesn't work. Kind of like in the real world, eating too much of anything makes you feel sick after a while. In GTNH, you literally start eating your food slower, and it provides diminishing returns past a few reps. The solution I found is to just eat a ton of different foods, which is, again, why I have so many different crops on my farm. Variety is the spice of life, and while I'm not at the point yet where it's too useful, you can cook these into proper dishes. The better items you can make end up filling your entire hunger bar with a single item. Not to mention that by eating different foods, you're rewarded with additional health. As you can see, I currently have 1.5 health bars to use, which only makes this moment even more strange to me. Anyway, Your progression in this mod is guided along by the quest book. This is a massive book filled with tons and tons of things to do. The first few objectives they have is telling you that you should that you cannot make stone tools and are stuck with the wooden ones for the time being. By the way, when I said a ton of quests, I meant a ton of quests. The mod itself states that there's around 3,000 to complete, so you can see just the sheer quantity of things to do. The first big jump is actually just getting torches. I spent the better part of a Minecraft week stuck inside a hole in the ground because you can't make any. Why? Because you can't find coal, and charcoal can't be made inside a furnace anymore. The solution is to just avoid the night entirely. The last goal in the Tier 0 section of the quest book is making a bed. By running around like the insomniac I am, I found enough sheep to kill in order to make one. And there was around 10 seconds between when it's considered night and when I can sleep, versus when the monsters start to actually spawn. So that lets me work outside as long as I stay on top of skipping the night. And I will, because I need a lot of sand, clay, and gravel in order to get a coke oven. A coke oven is what you call a multi-block structure, and it's because it is just a structure made of multiple blocks. By taking the clay and the sand and combining it with a brick mold, I can then cook the bricks in a regular oven, mush them together using some water, and then build a hollow 3x3 cube to finish the coke oven. Finally, after throwing some logs inside, they will eventually roast into charcoal, which can then be made into 2 torches, because they cut the amount that you get in half even after making you do all this. Well, whatever, I just need to keep the logs inside of it and it'll run on its own without any outside input. I then decided to make 2 more, because why not? These also make creosote as a byproduct, but I found out you can turn that into more torches, so it all works out. A bit later into Tier 0, I make some Tinker's Construct stations to improve my wooden tools to flint ones. These tools are special, they aren't like the normal tools, and I honestly thought they weren't better initially. Basically, the advantage of them is that they don't break when they run out of durability, but you have to repair them using the same material you used to make them. At first, I thought this was just more of a side grade, but then I discovered the other benefits. Since you need to make every piece of the tool individually, I discovered that using different materials results in stat changes. So far, they've only been changes to my durability, which is nice, but I assume they'll do more later as I progress farther. Another multi-block called a smeltery allows me to make bronze casts to make better tools. I thought it would be useful to melt my ores, but then I have to manually click the fluid to process it, and that takes way more time than just throwing it into some blast furnaces to do it on its own. By alloying some zinc and copper to get bronze tools, I hop back into the mines to work on other stuff, because I discovered there's more benefits to using these tools compared to normal ones. To sum it up, ores are different now than in other mod packs. They spawn in a 3-chunk grid and have a huge quantity of a specific ore spotted around with a few other ones. You can see this grid on my minimap in the top right. While I was playing, I learned that my tools level up. They grant better mining speed and let you mine stronger materials too if you're lucky. But that's not the cool thing I'm focusing on. It's the modifiers. I came across some redstone by chance, and I noticed I could add it to my pickaxe. Then, I noticed lapis works too. And what does adding these do to my tools? It gives them efficiency and fortune, respectively, before I've even figured out how to reliably get iron. So I've been spending a lot of time mining in order to find a vein of the stuff, and while I got lucky and found some small redstone near my base, I just could not find the lapis one. And considering lapis gives me fortune, I feel like it's pretty important to get. And so I dug. And dug. And dug. For my recordings, I ended up digging for about 4 hours before just giving up and trying to go for something that will really help me at this point in time. The Ore Finder Wand. This is an item that, when inserting any ore block, lets you locate it from 60 blocks away vertically. And from the quest page, I know lapis veins spawn between 5 to 40. This is very important because of the area I'm in. As you can see from the info in the top left, my Y level, or just my vertical height, never goes above 100. That means that I can get this wand and then just walk around and discover the vein by brute forcing every option available. The problem is, of course, actually making it. The wand requires 2 difficult to get things for me at this stage, needing a gold ring and some magnetic iron rods. As I progressed some more quests, I came to learn about a class of items called tools. These are items that can let me take a gold bar, which I have, and then file it down into a rod and mash it into a ring shape using a hammer. Cool. So what about the magnetic rod? Oh. See, you need redstone to make the bars magnetic, which is actually cool to me since you can run an electric current through an iron in the real world to get it magnetic as well. But here, it means that I either need to get lucky and find enough redstone from those rare small veins while mining, or find a redstone vein itself. And lucky for me, 4 hours of tunneling actually did net me a redstone vein that I can use. So despite the initial panic, I actually managed to get all the things I need to make this wand. Boom. Now I need a way to actually use it. Turns out that the lapis dust I have is not in any way considered to be the same as normal lapis. So I can't use it to modify my pickaxe, and even worse, I can't use it to locate a vein either. By testing some random junk, I learned how the wand works. First, placing in an ingot, or in this case a piece of lapis dust, does not locate more lapis. It locates nothing, actually. So I tried other things, and those failed too. But then I tried zinc gravel, which I found by the river, and suddenly it started working. From my testing, the wand either only works with blocks to locate other similar blocks in the world, or I was using it wrong and I'm an idiot. Until proven otherwise though, this means I need a piece of lapis ore, as in the block itself. Considering I don't have Silk Touch, a means of finding it, nor even knowing if it exists in this mod pack, how the hell is this thing useful to me? Luckily, the quest book has an answer. At the bottom of the book is a page called Coins, 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 which basically works like a shop. By completing quests, I have been consistently rewarded with coins of various types, and I have the forethought to save them for later. By using these coins, I can trade them for things that might be too difficult for me to find, like saplings, leather, food, and of course, ore blocks. Turns out one of the trades you can make is, although pricey, a trade for one of many. One of the options being lapis. Bingo. Before I go out to look, I decide to get a start on finding a rubber tree. These are trees that I've technically seen while running around, but never had the forethought to grab them. And while looking, I stumble across one, then another, and then a third on the way back. I also found some tower-looking thing with a staircase going down into the earth, so I'll have to look at that later. Because this episode is a mess, and I really want to keep playing rather than sum up what I've done playing passively for like 2 weeks. Next episode will be much more organized than this mess of a video, and I'll not skip showing you a bunch of stuff I managed to lose while making this. So, I thank you for your time. The like and subscribe buttons are below if you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a pleasant week. Bye!